So hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hadi. I am a mechanical engineering student currently in 6th semester. Today we are going to discuss about hybrid cars. So to start things first, I would like to compare the difference between hybrid and electric cars. This is because I see a lot of confusion between these two cars. So the first difference are the hybrid vehicles are powered by an internal combustion engine and electric motor, while electric vehicles, also known as EV, are only powered by an electric motor, except that electric vehicles the motor of electric vehicles is bigger. Next thing you may notice is that the battery packs. So the battery packs is that the battery packs of an electric vehicles is much bigger compared to the battery packs of hybrid vehicles. So these battery packs, its function is to supply electric power to the electric motor. So the inside of what's interesting about these battery packs is that the inside of it contains those similar AA battery, and there are many of them inside these battery packs. This is due to the fact that it needs better cooling. So because when battery packs when electric motor needs power from the battery packs, it generates lots of heat. Therefore, this battery packs is smaller for efficient cooling. So it is organized in rows, and in between them, it has a coolant. It has a metal tube for coolant to pass through. This is to cool down the battery each time it generates heat. So back to the slide. So there's the third thing you may notice is that hybrid vehicles don't have a charging port, which you may be wondering how do hybrid vehicles gain power? Well, it gains power by regenerative braking. So I will explain into that in more details into that later. While an electric vehicles, it has a charging port, so it charges the battery directly from the charging port. And the last thing you may notice is that hybrid vehicle have a fuel filler, while electric vehicles, because it doesn't have an internal combustion engine, it doesn't need any fuel. And at the same time, hybrid vehicles do have exhaust, and electric vehicles do not have exhaust. Because of no internal combustion engine, there is no exhaust inside the electric vehicles, while hybrid vehicles do have exhaust. So next, I forgot to mention, plug-in hybrid vehicles. There are also those plug-in hybrid vehicles which is similar to hybrid vehicles, only that it has a charging port to charge the vehicles. That's all. So how does hybrid vehicle works, you might ask? So the main components that drives this vehicle is the internal combustion engine, the electric motor, the battery packs to supply power to the electric motor, and the transmission system which drives the wheel. So the transmission system is what transfer the mechanical power to drive the wheels. So as you may see, there are two power sources. Because there are two power sources, they need to work together. The electric motor and the internal combustion needs to work together in order to run to the vehicle. Therefore, inside a hybrid, there is a computer system that operates all these components together. So for example, if the car were to drive at 100 km per hour, it will first ask the battery packs if it has enough battery to supply to the electric motor, and if it does, the internal combustion engine would turn off instead and will run fully by the electric motor. However, if the electric motor battery is now going slowly, is depleted, then it will turn off the electric motor and run with the internal combustion engine instead. Another example is when a car to climb up a hill, and it needs more power. So for more power, the computer would turn on both the internal combustion engine and the electric motor to supply power to the car for better acceleration during the climb. So next, we go to the part of regenerative braking. So what is the regenerative braking? So to compare it first, for normal braking, it generates when braking, it generates lots of heat, and heat will just dissipate away. While for regenerative braking, it transfer the kinetic energy to the brake. So for regenerative braking, it is the recovery of kinetic energy during braking. So recovery of kinetic energy during, so when braking, it is recycled to supply power to the electric motor. This would eventually create less heat. So the principle of this regenerative braking is, for example, like a working principle of a dynamo. So for a dynamo, a torque needs to be applied to supply power to the electric generator. So when torque is applied, electric is generated. So the same concept applies to regenerative braking. So the torque is from the braking force of the torque is gained from the braking force of the car. So the process is first starts with electric motor is changes to electric generator. Then the electric motor will change to electric generator. Then the second step will be when brakes are applied, torque is gained, and the torque will be used to generate electric to the electric generator, thus supply power to the battery to store the battery. Next, and the battery would then supply the electric motor if needed to. But however, this principle of regenerative braking only works when the car were to drive at fast speed and brakes are applied. If the car were going slow and brakes are applied, a normal conventional brake is used instead. Therefore, heat is generated only when normal conventional brake is used. Therefore, this is why, because of shortened time of using the normal brakes, less heats are generated. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of the hybrid car? Well, first of all, the advantages of it is that it is environmental friendly. This is because of the low fuel consumption, so less carbon are emitted to the outside world, and because of low fuel consumption, the cost to run this vehicle is cheaper compared to normal vehicle. Next is that advantages is they use regenerative braking system. So since they use regenerative braking system, the brakes would eventually last longer because of less heat generated. And then the last advantages is that it has a higher resale value because of the technology invested inside the hybrid car. It is expensive, and when we are to sell the car again, the reselling price will be still reasonable. And now, because of these advantages, there are also disadvantages. Well, the disadvantages of a hybrid car is that it has a higher maintenance cost. So this is because it may be hard to find an expert expert mechanic who can repair the hybrid car, and it might even cost more. The next disadvantages of the car is that this car is expensive to purchase. However, this is an initial investment of the car. The cost to run it is way cheaper compared to normal vehicles. And then the last disadvantages is that it has less power. This is because of the smaller internal combustion engine and smaller electric motor. Therefore, if you were to drive this car for speed, it is not efficient that way. So That's all from me. If you were to buy a hybrid car, do consider the advantages and the disadvantages. And that's all from me. So I hope you like my presentation. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you for listening to my speech. Goodbye.